Okay, so this demonstration goes along with a blog post that I recently published. And if you've come directly to this video without reading that post, the link to it, it's in the details below. Here I'm going to show the idea of applying policy from a continuous delivery platform for Kubernetes clusters. And what we're using is Open Policy Agent, OPA, as an agent of Spinnaker through the Armory Policy Agent. Instead of us applying and defining policy cluster by cluster by cluster for admissions policy in this example, what I've done is locked down a Kubernetes cluster so that I cannot deploy directly against the Kube API server and required that the deployments come from my Spinnaker instance. And then within Spinnaker, using the same OPA platform, I have mission policies defined. And in the example I'll show here, I am saying that a image cannot be deployed with the latest tag or with no tag at all. I am saying we have to specify a very specific image tag in order for it to successfully deploy. So I'll start with, as cluster admin, showing you that I've locked down this Kubernetes cluster. I'm in the default namespace. And I should have no deployments right now. I also have the standard Kubernetes IO deployment example here with Nginx, and Nginx is not labeled. The policy won't be applied here because I've simply said don't allow any deployment, regardless of construct of the manifest. Okay, so we can see here that the OPA rule I've defined has been triggered, and I gave the message of resources can only be created from an approved pipeline. Let's take a look at our pipeline. Okay, I have a deploy pipeline here, and if I look at what I'm doing, I'm deploying that same manifest to the same namespace. And as you can see, I still have not defined an image tag. So instead of being denied because we're not allowing anyone to deploy, here Spinnaker is allowed to deploy to that cluster, but we're going to be denied for a different reason. And that reason is because of the policy set at the Spinnaker level is saying that I cannot deploy unless there's an image tag defined, and that tag cannot be latest. We'll start a manual execution, and we should see that policy triggered. Okay, so we matched our policy rule. Images must specify a tag and must not specify latest. Let's go in and provide an image tag. So with our image tag added, we can go back and rerun this pipeline. And now that we've met policy, we should succeed with our deployment. And there is a successful deployment. If we look at the cluster, we'll see the deployment running in our target namespace. So this is the benefit that I'm trying to convey in this topic of centralizing your Kubernetes admission policy at the deployment platform rather than trying to keep it consistent across hundreds of individual Kubernetes clusters.